Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Today I'm making a pistachio crusted salmon, which will amaze you how easy it is to make and only takes 20 minutes from start to finish. The macronutrient ratio for this recipe is 1.7 to 1, with 4.9 grams of total carbs, of which 1.8 grams is fiber. Let's begin by assembling and measuring all of our ingredients, then preheating the oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit, as well as lining your baking sheet with parchment. I would strongly recommend that for this recipe and your other salmon recipes that you use wild salmon caught in cold water regions. There is a noticeable difference in taste and nutritional benefits from wild salmon. For this recipe I used wild Pacific salmon because if I'm entertaining, this is my go-to recipe. It's easy, fast, and I don't have to spend the entire day in the kitchen. And it's one of my favorite recipes when I'm making a meal just for David and me. And also by buying the whole salmon, I can take what I need and freeze the rest for another time. I cut the fillets so that each portion is 120 grams. To know how many pieces to cut to achieve this weight, I took the total weight and divided it by 120, and in this case it equaled to 4 slices. I'm going to use the 2 center sections for the pistachio crusted salmon and save the rest for a later time. The first thing you must do is to pat dry the salmon fillets. Use a paper towel to pat both the skin and meat side as well as the sides of the salmon, and also dry the work surface. Begin with the skin side up, sprinkle half of the total salt and pepper onto the skin side, then put the skin side down and sprinkle the salt and pepper on the top. It's best if you can use a pastry brush to spread the Dijon mustard on top of the non-skin side of the salmon. And don't forget to also apply the mustard to the sides of the fillet. Then sprinkle the finely chopped onions on top of the mustard. Gently pat down on the onions so they will stick to the mustard. Next, divide the crushed pistachios into 2 equal sections. Spoon half of the crushed pistachio onto the fillets. Try to make the pistachio layer even over the entire surface. Use your hands to gently press down on the pistachios, which will help them to stick to the mustard base as well. Now take your parchment-lined baking sheet and pour about half of your oil to cover only the surface area needed for the fillets. Carefully transfer the salmon to the baking sheet, placing them on top of the oil. Scoop up any of the pistachios that have fallen off and place them on top of the salmon. They're too good to waste. In a very slow stream, drizzle the rest of the oil on top of the 2 fillets. You can prepare this recipe one day ahead. If you do that, just cover the casserole with cling wrap and store in the fridge. Take it out 15 minutes before you're ready to serve to allow the fish to get back to room temperature. Or you can put it in the oven immediately. Place the casserole into the top third of your preheated oven and set the timer for 10 minutes. The actual time your fillets need may vary depending on the thickness of your salmon fillets. When your salmon is done, remove it from the oven immediately. Do not be tempted to overbake because the salmon will dry out and become leathery. The salmon should be flaky and look a bit moist. That is the correct way to serve the salmon or any fish. This pistachio crusted salmon can be served with any number of side dishes. This evening I served it with a romaine baby spinach and strawberry salad with a simple olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette. With this salad, the macronutrient ratio for the meal was 2.32 to 1. Quite a significant improvement. Enjoy. Drop me a comment or send a photo explaining what you served with the salmon. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please share and press the like button if this recipe is something you want to try. See you next time.